Live from the Scheinfeld Center Innovator Studio at Santa Barbara City College, it's the Enlightened Entrepreneur Podcast, where we inform and inspire Gen Z to become even more entrepreneurial and innovative in our global economy. I'm your host, Julie Sampson, Director of the Scheinfeld Center, and welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us to build livelihoods that matter, be your own boss, and make the world an even better place. Let's just jump right into it. In this episode, we're going after how to optimize your passion, purpose, and health as an entrepreneur. Maintaining health as an entrepreneur is something that is not talked about enough. As an entrepreneur, you have these amazing aspirations and this vision of what you want to create. And then at the same time, you get hit with the realities, the day-to-day realities of what running a startup or running a business really is. And those kinds of things with those kinds of things, we can end up compromising on the things that really help to maintain our health and vitality. The basics like getting enough sleep, exercising, proper nutrition. How do you balance all of this as an entrepreneur? How do you do what you love, bring the best into the world, bring your idea to life, and also nurture yourself? Well, to help us break that all down, joining us from the UK is executive health and fitness coach and transformation specialist, Ronnie Rich. Ronnie is the founder of FitBanker Limited, and his mission is to transform 1 billion lives by instilling a new set of daily habits that can last a lifetime, including time-merged skills to integrate new lifestyle activities into your existing 24 hours. He leverages social media as a platform for the Global FitBanker Challenge, and he runs the annual peak ascent called the Kilimanjaro Leadership Summit. Wow, welcome, Ronnie. It's such a pleasure to have you here. I can't think of a better guest to talk about our subject today.
Thank you so much for having me here. And thank you so much for giving me a platform to reach those 1 billion lives even quicker. Thanks to you guys. So such a pleasure to be here, and would love to share as much as I can and be of as much value add to you, to your audiences, and to Gen Z globally. And thank you, Scheinfeld, for having me on your podcast.
You're so welcome. And so let's get right to it. I'm with you on that. First of all, tell us about your amazing background. As a banker, originally, you did this shift to creating transformative experiences for people with FitBanker. So actually, let's step back and talk about that first.
Sure, I'd love to share that. And I'll give you the very short, 2-minute version of it. I grew up in an Asian family, and a lot of us have this background of wanting to get into something that is very academically rewarding and monetarily rewarding, and what society considers and deems successful. And I went into banking, and I was a chartered accountant. I went to investment banking. And very quickly, I found that as much as I did very well in that, and I got multiple promotions, and I was VP at this investment bank, JP Morgan, I found that my body was communicating something else to me. It was overweight, and I was low on energy, and I constantly felt lethargic. And what that really told me, that I found myself performing in an area or arena that's not suited to my true and authentic nature. And living that life as 108 kilos, which is about 240 something pounds, and 40-inch waist, after loss in the family, I had a health scare and I ended up hospitalized. And when I got hospitalized, I was 33 at the time, and I just thought to myself, this is ridiculous. This is not the definition of success. The job might be good, the title might be good, the salary might be good, and the savings might be good, but lying in a hospital bed, whatever we are out to achieve in this world, we're not really that useful, or we're not really that able to fulfill on our mission. And I really had to relook at the definition of success, and I had to relook at why, whether we're an entrepreneur, or whether you choose to be a banker or a doctor or a lawyer or whatever you choose to be, to have your health operate with integrity is vital for you to fulfill on whatever game or passion or purpose or mission that you discover in life. And so it set like planted the seed for me to discover, what do I need to learn about nutrition? What do I need to know about my body? What do I need to know about what causes fat cells in the body? What causes muscle growth? And I began this transformation journey. In over 7 months, I lost 70 pounds. I got a six pack in my mid 30s. And I was like, damn, I thought I'm supposed to be my fittest in my 20s, but here I was at my peak in my 30s. And this year I turned 40, and I just feel like I'm getting younger and more energetic and more stronger, which really allows me to do what I do in my business. And now we've had hundreds of lives globally. We've taken on our programs. We've taken, dozens of people up Mount Kilimanjaro, and I'm going again in 3 weeks' time. And life is fun. Business is fun. And I think that's how it should be.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And so now with that background, now our audience can understand what position you're in to speak to, navigating the growth edge, being outside of our comfort zone for extended periods of time. So could you speak to that, the best practices for navigating that? How do we do that?
I'm going to draw some parallels from my experience on Mount Kilimanjaro that translate literally to life. And on the mountain, the first thing we have to do is get very clear of where we're heading for, which is the summit, the peak that we can see. And in business, we also need to have this clear outcome, or the next stage or the next phase of our business that we want to take it to. Whether it's creating an MVP, minimum viable product, or whether it's having that conversation with investors and fundraisers, you really want to have that visual quite clear for you and articulately written down, or even put together some form of a vision board and have that be somewhere in existence for you, so you know that's what we're aspiring towards. We do that on the mountain to get to the next campsite, and then to get to the ultimate vision. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, you should know, as we learned from the mountain as well, that there are going to be strong winds, there is going to be rain in your face, there is going to be snow, and there is going to be minus negative degree temperatures, and they too shall pass. So as an entrepreneur, we should know that whatever's coming our way is a test of our commitment to that mission and our why we started. And if we're clear on that, and if we're really committed to that, we will be able to last out any storm, any distraction, any economic setback, or any global pandemic that comes our way. We will be able to sail through that because we know what we're up to is grander and more important and a lot more viable to really make a difference to humanity. And that will drive us and keep us going in the right direction.
That's fabulous. And so it's like, as a daily practice, reconnecting with that.
Yeah, on a daily practice, what I actually personally do, and I highly recommend, is really spending time in the morning doing meditation. Meditation is one of the practices I do. And you want to meditate on a daily basis on what is that vision that you're out to fulfill upon. That's one thing that we want to do. Another habit as an entrepreneur to keep you in action and on track is we've got to get very used to honoring our word. So if we give our word to certain deliverables we will do, we want to start to put that in the calendar, schedule that in, add a reminder, have somebody take ownership of that, right? So the more we fulfill on the things we say we will do and when we said we will do them, the more we experience what I call integrity momentum. There's an element of power and force that we naturally experience as we go through that. And it's just a great practice to have in terms of our own personal leadership and in our business leadership. And the third one is, I would say, is your community. Surround yourself with people that are way more skilled and way more passionate in doing the things that you are really not great at doing. So don't try to do everything, because that will easily cause to burnout. If somebody's better at doing your website, if somebody's better at doing your social media, empower them, surround yourself with people better than you in those areas, and invite them to step in to deliver on those, because they will do those with a lot more joy than you will if that isn't your forte.
Oh, that's such good insight. That making sure that you have the network around you to support what you're trying to do to help alleviate that day-to-day stress and keep you on track. So that's actually another topic we should really touch on. We can be on our game and attending to those things, and still there's the unexpected things that can happen. The pandemics, the fallout from that, things that we hadn't planned on that can be derailers. They can derail us from what we're really trying to do. Are there any best practices that you've found that help people just come right on board, back on board with that? Or if something is coming up and it's really stressing you out, like what's the best way to deal with that, to not just push it away, but to really acknowledge what's going on so that you can move forward from it?
Yeah, what I invite everyone to get in their mindset as an entrepreneur is the kind of yin and yang relationship between life and life setbacks. And every setback comes with massive opportunity. And it's just how we look at what has happened and transpired in the world. And so today we're in a setback whereby there's this global pandemic. And it's such an opportunity for us to right now have this conversation digitally, right? Historically, this is something that we have to geographically travel to make something happen, or be in person in front of two cameras. But we can now connect digitally. So you have to listen to what's happening, and listen to wherever there is a setback, wherever there is a pandemic, there is a problem out there. And as entrepreneurs, we don't want to run away from problems. We want to seek them out. We want to chase adversity. We want to find where are those problems, the solutions to which are what we can offer or what we can leverage, right? So in our case, we saw this is happening as a pandemic, and we exist to educate and empower the people in the area of health. And we knew immediately, like, online is the place for us to really connect with people, where they can join our programs online. We run live webinars like this. We can run daily HIIT workouts. We can interview professionals and specialists in a particular field of healthcare or nutrition or exercise or adventure that would really contribute to and empower the people we want to make a difference to. And if your why is very clear, that the adversity is really a short-term distraction. And you need to look what in there is an opportunity. And as an entrepreneur, we always want to look for the opportunity in every situation. There is always an opportunity, and there is always something that we can serve or solve for others.
Excellent. So one of the things that can come up, as we get super busy and making things happen with our venture, is the thing of unexpected things come up that throws off our schedule, such as a regular exercise routine. And then we can get into this pattern of, oh, I missed today, I'll get it tomorrow. And then tomorrow it's like, well, it won't matter if I miss another day. And then it can snowball into us really getting off track, right? So how do we manage that? Because that's definitely a reality that happens for people.
Yeah, we have to get used to the uncomfortable act, the risky act of actually giving our word to somebody or something. So first thing I would suggest you do is to make your routine work for you and honor your health is create a schedule. And that schedule might be you share with a coach, with a mentor, with an accountability buddy. This is the time of day, unmessable, I'm going for my walk, or I'm going for a run, or I'm going to the gym at this time. Or go and actually book in a class. These are the 4 classes I'm doing this week. At the beginning of every week, schedule your week of where you honor your health first, so that your body and mind are functional and optimal to really have a powerful week in business. So first one is scheduling. The second one is, I always say you should learn to gamify, because that's what drives the mind. Gamify what you are committed to. So as an example, the group of our friends, what we've done is we're like, hey, we want to stretch how much cardio we do each week. And that might just be as simple as walking, something which most people can do. So we invite a group of people who'd like to join. We've got an Instagram group. Join this Instagram group, and you join the group, and we have a stretch goal called every week we all have to walk 50 kilometers, about 35, 36 miles. That's what we have to walk a week. And so on a daily basis, when you do your walk, you record it on an app, you take a screenshot, upload it to your Insta stories, share it with your mates. By daily reporting on what you've done, you're more likely to hit that goal by end of the week. right? But having a bit of a stretch goal and having other people who are also up to what you're up to will have you get there. And the third thing I would say is there's a thing we call time merge skills, developing time merge skills. There are so many actions and habits we do today that we can do digitally. Like we could listen to a book on Audible, and we can do that while walking. We can join a meeting or a call where we just need to be listening in and we can be present, and we can also go for a walk while we're joining that meeting. Or we could have a social where we catch up with a friend and rather be sat at a pub and a restaurant, which now most of them are closed here in the UK. I don't know about the US, but we could plan to meet up on a walk. So what I mean by time merge is you get to incorporate exercise while also doing this other activity called learning or attending a meeting or socializing. And that way with time merge, there's little time, little space for excuses as to why we couldn't make something happen. So scheduling, gamifying, and time merge. Those three habits, you want to incorporate them into your week.
Those are amazing habits. It's even as you're talking about that, it gets me excited about, re-energized towards taking care of these really important things that keep us healthy and vital.
Yeah, we have a meeting with the coaches where we say, this is going to be a walking meeting. So it's on Zoom, but we all have to take it walking. Or we invite as many who can go out walking. We're in different time zones, so depending on where you are, join the meeting on a walk. So it's a great thing.
That's really good because this serves us, as the founders, as the person bringing the vision forward. But this can also work to set up the company culture. Like, if you're doing well, you're going to have to hire other people like you were talking about. And so setting up this company culture where health and supporting each other in maintaining a healthy lifestyle is just the way things are done. And it's kind of like, why isn't it already that way, right?
Yeah, I think this what's going on globally, this pandemic, is such an opportunity for global behavioral change. And we come from a world where we needed our physical presence somewhere to fulfill on a particular task or role or work in an industry. And so we had these work hours from early morning to sunrise to sunset. But now we could have new routines created where it's mandatory, where companies encourage employees, 11 a.m. is your health time. Like go for a walk, go to the gym, do what you need to prioritize well-being. And everyone can choose an hour a day at a different time slot that they go and invest in themselves. So something we're committed to is we want to bring fit into the corporates. And by fit, we mean PHIT, which is coaching them to bring productivity, health, integrity, and teamwork. And there are methodologies where when we create a culture within an organization that is interested and invested in having employees prioritize their well-being, the employees themselves are more bought into that employer. The employees themselves want to be definitely part of that grander vision. And I think it's something that corporates need to start to lead on, to say we want to be that kind of a place of work where we encourage and empower you to optimize yourself biologically, emotionally, mentally, so you actually do give out the best output and the best product and service.
And it seems like, well, this would be meaningful for any generation, but we're especially focusing on Gen Z here. And this just seems like a really especially great way to connect with Gen Z, because the generation is so much about wanting true interest and support from their employers, which as entrepreneurs, we can be working within a company as an employee, or we can be running our own company, right? And I think that this is just a really good insight. Employers are asking, how do I connect with Gen Z? This is a really good example of how that can be incorporated.
Yeah, I think it definitely should be. And I think it's also something which Gen Z, wherever you are watching this, you should know that your voice matters now, to be raising that to senior management, to say, we want to alter the way we operate. Like, you don't want to have your freedom when you retire at 65. You want to have your fun, your joy, and life inside or woven into your daily routine at work and inside of a purposeful, mission-driven organization. And you can get to steer and create the way by being a demand for such offerings within your organization.
Do you have any particular ways of doing that you've seen employees do that helps, their voice to be heard within an organization?
If I recall back to what we had, and I've been out of the corporate world per se for about 7 years, is I really think leveraging and bringing these up in things like our quarterly or semi-annual reviews as things that matter. Mm-hmm. I think it's important to communicate these through. A lot of organizations have this, and the more of us that area it, where there are the equivalent of suggestion boxes on our intranet where you can go and give feedback to HR or team building leadership teams within the organization. And thirdly, I actually think that we can use social media to share with what matters to us as individuals. And mm-hmm. I want to believe that corporates are more present on social media, connected to what matters to the Gen Z of today, to really, we get a sense from what we put out there is relevant and important to us, and the values that we respect and honor, and that corporates would take that on. So I think really sharing that out, that's something that matters, and that's something that you look out for when you go for a job interview, and something you even want to have incorporated into your own startup if you're starting your own business.
Excellent, Ronnie. Hey, we have a question for our audience. Let's go ahead and take it. Can you speak to burnout in even striving for a healthy lifestyle? That's a great question.
Yeah. So what you want to do is we want to understand what exactly is burnout and what causes burnout, right? And burnout is often where we have subject our body and our mind to what we call non-natural human hours. Now, burnout is something many of corporate UK, corporate America, corporate world are experiencing, and they're not even present to it, because these bodies and these vehicles and these minds are effectively originally a hunter-gatherer. They're meant to be functional in nature. They're meant to perform and work and operate for certain periods. And when they're meant to rest, they're meant to sleep. When they're meant to eat, they eat. But nowadays, we have fit into a product of the Industrial Revolution, which is you work this many hours, and these are your breaks, and this is when you have lunch, and this is when you have breakfast. And then you're now driven by the capitalist mindset, where if you do more hours, you get more bonus. And then we get hooked in that trap. And what I would invite you all to consider is that a great way of avoiding that burnout is learning to really listen to your body, and getting in things like good hydration, getting in good sleep, having set intentional breaks away from screen, away from desk time, away from whatever is putting you in what we call a fight or flight state hormonally in our body. So taking intentional time away from that to allow you to just maybe take a walk outside, walk away from tech, maybe have a power nap. And now corporates, or if you work from home, even incorporating a power nap if you need to in the middle of the day to make that happen. But a great thing also would be is to start to create a routine around getting a certain goal of, say, just sleep is one of the biggest things that will shift you. So, but getting to bed by a certain time and honoring that sleep time and having no tech time for the hour and a half before that, so you get good and better sleep, and waking up earlier. So those are some of the things I recommend. Meditation, gratitude practices. I highly recommend gratitude practices. And one thing I'd recommend is I think that everyone should identify some form of personal development programs or communities that they can belong to that is outside their corporate environment. Because most of us are often trying to solve a problem with the same mindset that created it. So we're trying to get the answer or the solution from the same workplace that causes the burnout. And so I recommend you take yourself out of there and put yourself into some form of learning, growth, and development that is something you partake in weekends or evenings or mornings or online, that is outside and away from your corporate world. It will always be refreshing to have a different perspective to life.
Excellent. And so, sometimes there can be burnout on our health practice regimen, right? Our exercising and all of that. So I think what you're saying is sometimes even taking a break from all of the practices, like we've heard this thing, some people call it a cheat day or a down, a day away from all of the practices, because sometimes it's okay to just chill, right? I hope. What do you think about that?
Yeah, well, what we recommend is first of all, every week I think once a day should be a rest day, and a rest day means you're not subjecting your body to intense exercise and not creating what's called an inflamed state internally to your body. So you want to have that at least once a week, sometimes twice a week. But even on your rest day, you can take a light-paced walk. You can be out in nature. So that's a great thing to do. Another thing is sometimes you need to take a window out, right? And a whole week or 10 days. There's actually a thing called, what is it called? Something fatigue syndrome. I've just forgotten the term. But what happens is when we get that, that is literally where we've been driven on our fight or flight hormones, our adrenal glands, and we get really knackered. And the third thing I'd say is don't call it a cheat day, call it a treat day. And so go for a nice trek and have a lovely treat at the end of it.
That sounds like really great advice. I think maybe the term, was it chronic fatigue syndrome that you're talking about?
Chronic fatigue syndrome, that's what it is.
Okay, we've talked a lot about all of these awesome practices, and now we're going to go away and go, okay, wait, how do I start, right? So is there a framework that our audience who is listening to this and is motivated to get started here, what's a framework that they can put into place just right away to get started today?
If you want to cause something that shifts or changes, it's very easy to make a small change. But if you want to cause a transformation, you need to alter these three things, and these three need to be altered for you. And it's what I call ECH. So environment, community, and habits. And by environment, it means when you get up or where you hang out, you want that to be altered. Or if when you wake up, you get so busy and you're looking at your phone and you're rushing with your getting ready and going to work, you want to have some time where you are meditating in a certain place and space in your house. So that's altering your environment. It could be that your counter in your kitchen has all these bad snacks and cheap foods. You don't want them there. You want to have healthier options there. So alter the environment. Number two is the community. Surround yourself with people that are up to or already operating at where you want to be, right? So surround yourself with people that are up to, if you want to lose weight, surround yourself with people that want to lose weight, not with those that are already there, right? Surround yourself with people that are training or going regularly to the gym. Join a new gym, join some community that supports that. Get into CrossFit. The third one is the habits, right? So how do you bring accountability and start to track and acknowledge and record everything that your body is doing, taking in or giving out? So it might be that you start to do things like journaling your food or recording your food, recording your activities, and begin to document and measure your progress, so that if you can't measure your progress, where you are and where you want to get to, you can't manage it. There's a saying that we can't manage what we can't measure. And so we really recommend people get into the habit of bringing some form of accountability to everything that goes in and that's expended by the body.
That's fantastic, Ronnie. If you can believe it, that is our time. But now that we've got our audience all fired up, we should let them know, how can they contact you? What's the best way for them, if they're interested in your programs, to, get engaged with what you're doing?
Look, if anyone's daring enough and you can get on a flight to come up Kilimanjaro, you can join us and have the best Christmas ever. We're going to have fireworks on New Year's Day at Summit. So go to our website, fitbanker.com. There are details about that if you'd like to join. But in all honesty, connect with us on social media. We're on Instagram at fitbanker.co. We're on Facebook, fitbanker.co. And I would just love to, anyone that does want to connect and you watch this and you don't know me from before, I'd just love to hear from you. What was something you found valuable? What's something that you're dealing with or struggling with that we didn't talk about today? And if I could serve you, if I could offer a solution to you, I'm very approachable. Just reach out, slide into my DMs, as they say, and I'll be happy to give you a response and help you in whichever way I can.
That's fabulous. Thank you so much with your generosity with us here today, but also, for that generous commitment that you have to other people's health and well-being, and, the interest in our audience and entrepreneurs around the world to really having the health and vitality that they need, to bring their best ideas forward, focusing on their passion, purpose, and optimizing their health. It's awesome. Thank you so much for being our guest.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you to the whole team at Scheinfeld and everyone that sets this up and makes this show happen. And what a beautiful name, the Enlightened Entrepreneur. So, it's a privilege to be here, and thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Ronnie. And for our audience, we hope that this episode really supports you in your own wellness and making sure that you're taking care of yourself as you bring those great ideas forward. And if you like what we're doing here, please like, share, subscribe, tell others about what we're doing. We are here every week with entrepreneurs around the world, and we would love to have you as a part of our community. And so until next week, stay strong, keep bringing your great ideas to life, and we'll see you next week, everybody. Thanks and take care.
All right. Bye, guys.
Okay, that's it.